using Zoom to go live on YouTube at the same time?
Yeah. This is mainly just because I'm lazy and I don't have to record it and then edit the video, produce it, and then upload it. So when I go live on YouTube, it saves it and then just gets added to the playlist. Is that what are the drawbacks of that?
No, it's a good way of doing it. The thing with live streams though is this kind of preamble that we're doing now really should be chopped out, particularly on YouTube, because you'll lose people. But the great thing is, I think it was last year, YouTube introduced an editor actually within YouTube Studio.
Okay.
So now you can go in and chop out stuff after the event. So that's what I would do after you've done this, is go in and just chop out, right until the content starts.
Nice.
Otherwise you lose people.
Okie dokie, let's get started. It's 12 o'clock. Hey, everyone on Zoom. Good to see you all. And for those on YouTube, hey, folks. So I have to make a massive apology first. I always hold my hands up when I screw up, and I've just screwed up today, big time. So I booked in this interview with Pete last week, and for a Tuesday, 12 o'clock, etc. And I've been really looking forward to this because Pete Bennett, who we're going to be chatting with today, is walking the walk in terms of YouTube marketing, YouTube everything, basically. But the idiot being me, obviously, basically what happened, Pete, is I put you down for next Tuesday. My fat finger, I don't know what happened. For some reason, I must have scrolled forward an extra swipe. And so in my calendar, you're here for next week when I actually meant this week. And so today, literally about half an hour ago, I was like, what am I going to talk about today? Blah. And so if you're here about crypto, I'm terribly sorry. Today is not about crypto. So I'm just going to give you a few seconds to leave if you don't want to hear. Yeah. So
do you want to do it now or do you want to do it next Tuesday?
Oh, no. Now is great. I've been really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Pete, first of all, who are you? I know you explained this in the last time you're on with us, but for those who are seeing you for the first time, who are you? What do you do in a nutshell? And then we'll dive into it a bit more later.
Yeah, well, who am I? I started off with a degree in maths and computer science, which is very glamorous. Got all the girls by doing that. And then worked for an oil company for about a decade, and then did the normal thing. You leave, you think you're going to rule the world, don't you? And set up a number of companies. Most of them failed. Some of them didn't. I sold those, and then went sort of into the online marketing thing big time, and helped one of my ex-employees, actually, in a company that I had, a conference call company at the time, set up his YouTube channel, which turned out to be the biggest channel on the platform, which was huge, and sold for, I don't know the exact number, but it's more money than you could reasonably spend in a lifetime, and they're trying ever so hard.
Geez.
And just set up my own channels and help other people set up their channels. Really, I'm kind of semi-retired, I guess you would say. But even if I was a multi-millionaire, I'd still do this because it's just great fun.
Yeah.
And it's a great way, particularly now. Actually, people think YouTube has got more difficult to be successful on, but that's actually not true. It's probably easier now than it's ever been to get your message out, because YouTube's platform has evolved, and the analytics have also evolved along with it to make it quite easy now to get good traction, and effectively use YouTube as your unpaid sales force to go out and find your ideal client if you do it right. Maybe we can talk about some of the stuff that people do wrong today, as well as what people do right, because there's an awful lot of misinformation about how to be successful on YouTube. Most of it kind of damages people's success rather than helps it.
Interesting. Yeah, let's go in with that then. So what are the gaping errors? I'm going to be taking notes furiously here.
Well, here's the biggest error, in my opinion, is people get obsessed about the number of subscribers they've got. Um,
Okay.
Subscribers pay you $0. You don't get paid for subscribers. You get paid either directly by YouTube through AdSense, through the number of watch hours that you get, or by people getting to know, like, and trust you as an individual, or a consultant, or an expert, and then hiring you as a result of spending time with you on YouTube. Subscribers really only matter up to about 1,000, because once you get to 1,000 subscribers, then certain features within the platform are unlocked. But everybody thinks that subscribers is the thing that's important, and it really isn't. And because of that, what people do is, as soon as they set up a channel, they go out to their friends and family who, with the best will in the world, want to help that person, and they subscribe to the channel, which then confuses the algorithm, because the algorithm can't find any commonality between those people, and therefore it can't find future prospects for them. So going for subscribers, I think, is probably the biggest thing that people do wrong. And YouTube perpetuate this. I mean, when you get to 100,000 subscribers, they send you a little plaque in the post. Why not do it when you've got, I don't know, a million views would be better than 100,000 subscribers, for instance.
Okay.
So I think that's one of the main things. And probably the second thing, stop me if you're bored, by the way, because I will go on.
No, this is good.
The second thing is trying to be too general. So, I've had a look at lots of channels, and first of all, there'll be them baking a cake, and then they'll be out walking a dog, and then they'll be giving financial advice, and then they'll be in the bath, with the kids or whatever. It's just like, what's this show about? To be successful on YouTube, you need to be a one-trick pony, but be the best at performing that trick. Now, being the best doesn't necessarily mean you're performing it in the most proficient way. Maybe, who's old enough to remember Tommy Cooper? Maybe every time you try and do the trick, you mess it up, but you're the best at messing it up, and you're the most entertaining while you're doing it. And there's two reasons really why you want to be a one-trick pony. The first one is that people tune into a channel, and the word channel is quite significant here. They tune into a channel to watch content that they're expecting to see. If you think of TV channels, do they still exist? I don't know, or Netflix channels. In the middle of a current affairs program that you've tuned in to watch the news, you wouldn't suddenly expect a kid's cartoon to come up. Like, you're going to that channel because at that time you're interested in that specific content. So really, your channel should be very targeted. Now, that gets a bit boring sometimes as a creator, to be honest. There's only so many. I've got a love channel, which I'll show you shortly, for like love tips. As a divorced person, I'm very well qualified to do that. I should listen to my own advice. But I get bored because it's like there's only so many ways you can say the same thing.
Yeah.
But actually, saying the same thing in different ways is exactly what you need to do to be successful, because most people, if you're doing it right, will be hearing it for the first time. And even if they're not, it's important to learn things you already know in a different way so that it actually sinks in.
And people won't get bored. Like, for example, I used to watch Gary Vee for a bit, but then if you watch like an hour or 2 hours worth of Gary Vee videos, you don't learn anything new. He just says the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah, and that's the balance, is making stuff interesting and exploring things which are in your tight niche, but not straying outside of that. So okay. We'll have a look at your channel if you like in a little while.
It's far too broad.
Yeah. So you can probably recognize what I'm saying there as being important. But the second thing is that the algorithm now is so smart that what it does is it looks at the profiles of the people that are watching your video, and it knows what other videos those people have watched, and it will therefore build up an avatar of your ideal client or your ideal viewer, and then go out based on that information and find lots more of them. So if you're all over the shop, it doesn't know, am I looking for people that, want to watch, my kids' bath time? Am I looking for people that want to know how to bake a cake, walking the dog? It's confused. You've got to keep it really nice and tight within the same niche. And that is a challenge for creators. Once you become a name, I guess Gary Vee could probably do something completely off the wall and people would watch, because the niche then is Gary Vee. The personality is the niche. But
so it doesn't matter what he does then.
Sorry, Sam?
So it doesn't matter what he does once you get to a certain traction.
Yeah, to a large degree, people will watch anything because it's the person that they're watching. But most people come to YouTube to search for, either entertainment or specific answers to specific questions. And I think that would be the tip that I would give people if they want to start using YouTube as a lead generation, as opposed to making money off of advertising, which we can talk about as well if you like. But if it's for lead gen, know, like, and trust, then become the expert. And it's ever so simple, because YouTube will tell you what people are looking for. All you've got to do is provide the answers. Find out what they want, give it to them, rinse, repeat, buy a big house. That's it. That's what I've always said about any business, really. But YouTube is the epitome of that, because it is so transparent in terms of the supply and demand. I say I'd always swap that round, is rather than do supply and demand, look for demand and supply. So find out what they want, that's the demand, and then supply it, give it to them.
So, okay, so what if you're someone, let's say myself, I've got a few different hats. I guess I've got a trading hat, or trading and investing hat, business hat, I guess business coach hat, and then maybe crypto hat as well. What if you love all three hats the same? Do you recommend setting 3 separate channels?
3 separate channels, yeah.
And that won't dilute viewers or anything, because won't I then have 3 channels with no subscribers, no viewers, yada yada yada?
No, because if you become known as the crypto expert, then YouTube's algorithm will go out and find people that are watching content about crypto, because it will be a very clear mandate. It's like a sales team, isn't it? Okay, these are the people I want you to target. Off you go and find some. Think of the YouTube algorithm as doing the equivalent of kind of cold calling, if you like, in the olden days. It'll actually go out and find people for you. But you may want to raise yourself up to the level of the Gary Vee, be the personality that dips into different niches, but that's a harder play.
Yeah. So obviously it depends on how good the videos are, but let's say today I set up 3 separate YouTube channels and then I started populating them, accordingly. Won't there be a pretty long period where the channel will just have 0 views, 0 subscribers, 0 everything?
Yeah, when things start, it can take a while to get traction, and that's why I like YouTube, because most people give up before they're successful, which means opportunity for those of us who are in it for the long term. It's a bit like going to the gym, really, isn't it? It's very difficult to keep going, to start with, because it's unpleasant. You don't feel at home there. You don't feel like you're making much progress, but you stick at it for 6 months or a year, and you can certainly tell that you're a lot better at the end of that year than you were at the beginning. And the gym's a good analogy for a lot of YouTube stuff, really. It definitely gets easier as you get more into it. And you start to feel at home, and you get feedback as well. It's very lonely in the beginning. For the first 90 days, you're shouting into the void. You've got a lot of psychology to deal with during that time. And not everybody can do that, which is great, because it means that those of us who can win.
Nice. Okay. So, and what about the length of the videos? Obviously that probably, because the other time you're on here, you talked about YouTube Shorts, etc. But then also YouTube likes 10-minute videos, because it's how do you get
okay, let me I'll unpack that. Yes, YouTube Shorts are a particular type of video which YouTube has introduced fairly recently in order to combat the perceived threat from TikTok. And the definition of a YouTube Short is that it's 60 seconds or less. And you do a little bit of configuration, you add a few tags, you do a bit of formatting, and you can make a YouTube short. Now, I actually quite like the YouTube short format because as a creator, it forces you to get to the point, and it forces you to think very clearly about what you're going to say. Because a minute is actually quite a long time. If you know what you're going to say and you've put some thought into it, you can get quite a lot of information over in 1 minute. But then it's one video, one point. When you finish talking, shut up. Next. There are some downsides of shorts around monetization, depending on what monetization model you want. But the great thing about shorts is they're easy to make. You can do them on your phone. Because there's not much competition, for a reason which I'll explain in a moment, it's quite easy to get traction. And I'll show you the Love Advice channel that I set up, if you like, as an example of that, if you want me to share the screen in a moment.
I will give you access.
Yeah.
How do I? 1 second. I'm just trying to give
But before I do that, just to go back onto the longer videos.
Yeah.
Since, I don't know, 2005, whenever YouTube was set up, YouTubers wanted creators to make long videos so that it keeps people on the platform so that they can sell advertising. Because YouTube's business model is the longer that you're watching videos on YouTube, the more advertising that they can put in front of people and the more money they make. And it used to be that a video had to be 10 minutes long to be able to have mid-roll adverts. That's now changed. It's 8 minutes long now. So if you were going to make a video, I would aim to do it somewhere between 8 and 10 minutes if your business model revolves around making money from AdSense. But if your business model is about getting, consultancy type clients, then the ideal length of the video is when you've said all you need to say and you're getting boring, then you shut up. And the great thing is YouTube's analytics will tell you when you're getting boring, because it will tell you when people are bailing.
Nice.
But if you want to get AdSense revenue, you need to get a lot of views in most niches to make serious money on AdSense. You're lucky. You and I together could make a shed load of money in finance, because I know about YouTube, you know about finance. That is one of the highest paying niches on the platform.
Even though there's like 1 billion people talking about finance.
Yeah, but they're not you, are they? That's the thing.
So what would you and I do? Let's say we went, right, let's join forces and dominate YouTube. What would you do, or what is the plan, I guess?
So if you came to me as a client, the first thing that I would say is we need to find out what people are searching for in your niche. And there are various, you can do it with free tools, but there are various paid tools which would help us do that. But we would find out what people are asking and what they're interested in. Remember what I say, find out what they want, then give it to them. Yeah. We would then craft a series of videos which address the issues that people are concerned about. We would take tips from some of the big players in the market, we'd look at what's working for them, and then we would, I hesitate to say do it better, because better is subjective, but we would put our spin on what people are already doing, and we would build upon their success. And then we'd keep doing it. And this is where people fail. They put one video up and wonder where the Lambo is. We'd need to do it regularly. Yeah. And honestly, that's the biggest problem. People just stop. They just stop. Why? What's going on?
Business is the same. Like, most people quit in the first year, whereas they can massively underestimate what they can do in 5 to 10 years. And that's, most businesses start doing really well between year 5 and 10. Yeah. So I guess YouTube is probably similar.
Well, I'll give you an example from one of my channels. I've got a nursery rhyme channel, and I'm just looking at the analytics. I can't show you these analytics because they have financial data, and as a YouTube partner, you're not allowed to show financial data, apparently. Okay. But I made one video. It took just over 18 months to start getting traction, and that's had 60 million views now. For the first year, it had nothing, almost nothing. I mean, you could count it in dozens, and then suddenly, bang, 60 million views. Let me show you. I'll show you the Love channel, because that's not monetized yet. If you like, I can just give you an example of some of the things that I'm talking about.
You have the ability to share screen now.
Okay. Right. Let's have a look. was looking at your channel, but I don't know whether that's working. Can you see my chat?
It says start. Yep, can see it now. Oh, great freeze in my face there. I need to change that video.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, we could do a quick check through of your channel as well if you like, but
Yeah.
let me make the point about things taking time.
Okay.
I mean, this was one that I set up on day before Christmas Eve. Now, you know, it's nothing, and now it's starting to take off, and you get these waves where it goes up and it goes down, and that's because the algorithm is going out and it's trying. These blue lines are different audiences that it's trying, and it's measuring the effect of the interest by trying different audiences. So, you know, it tried an audience there. This purple line said that the audience didn't like it particularly. So it's going out and it's trying new audiences. But you've got to stick at it. This was one video a day, or in some instances, more than one video a day from December through to, I think the first time we actually got a bite was February. Most people would have given up end of January, probably.
And does the cadence matter? Because it looks like you're doing 60-second shorts here. So do you have to do, what about the cadence?
I'm not sure what you mean by cadence.
Like how frequent should you post a video and like?
Oh, yeah. The somewhat trite but correct answer is you should post videos as often as you think you can keep up the pace without losing consistency or losing heart.
Got it.
Now, because I do these on software, and they're very easy to do. I don't actually appear on any of them. They're just well, I'll play one. You can see that.
If you've been dumped, you'll be missing your ex. But are they secretly missing?
Oh, didn't it stopped?
If you've been dumped, you'll be missing your ex. But are they secretly missing you? Here's signs to look out for. 1. They stalk you on social media. Suddenly getting likes and comments? They still miss you and want to maintain a connection.
Anyway, you can see it's nonsense. But the point is, I know there's a demand and I produce one video a day. And as long as I keep doing that, you know, over time, this will grow into quite a substantial channel, I think. I mean, who knows? There's no guarantee, but I can see no reason why not.
And like, so the voiceover, that's just a robot, isn't it?
Yeah, that's just a robot because I can't be asked to do it myself. And also, I don't, on most of my channels, I don't appear. I use software because I want to sell the channels, and that's when money's made, is when you sell it. I think we mentioned last time you can't sell your face. So, you know, the substantial capital growth in a channel where you don't appear on it.
Because the new owner doesn't really need to do anything then. They just all can maintain the, you know.
That's right. I say just as recently as Friday, I spoke to a company over in the States who is interested in buying one of my channels, and I couldn't sell that if my face was on it. But it was the same with the companies that I had. I sold 2 companies. One was 6-figure, one was 7-figure. And I wasn't on any of the website. I never went to the office, had staff to do that.
Nice.
Because I don't know, I just thought that there's a danger in doing the celebrity role. You know, what if you get bored with it, or you get run over by a bus? Suddenly the company's gone, isn't it?
Yeah, that's so true. And so is the idea of this love channel to then target? So obviously, I've always said that you only have one customer when you set up a business, and it's the person or the company that's going to buy your company. So have you targeted a company that you're aiming to sell this to in the future?
This would be sold to one of the big media companies. There's a few of them. You may have heard of Brightside and various other big channels. Those are typically run by networks of channel, or companies that own networks of channels. And what will happen when the channels get big is people will approach you. You don't need to worry about a buyer. People, you'll be fending them off basically once you start to get fairly large.
Nice.
But you are right. You should always start a company with an exit in mind, in my opinion. And the way to get an exit in YouTube is just to build something big and wait. And then people will buy it with multiples. Probably seven would be low. One of my friends sold his channel at Christmas for $80 million. And that was a significant multiple of his revenues.
Jesus.
So, you know, this won't go for $80 million, doesn't need to, but you know, the sky's the limit, really.
So in terms of, so are you going, at what point will you monetize this 60 seconds channel?
I'll probably wait till I get to 1,000 subscribers, maybe 5,000, and then I'll start putting longer videos on it as well, compilations of shorter videos and longer videos.
Yeah.
But there's also, I mean, there's so many ways of monetizing it. I mean, if I could be bothered, even now, although I can't, I would probably write a book or put a course together, or go on to ClickBank and find, you know, a digital product that complements this. I don't know. I'm sure there's all sorts of stuff about, you know, 5 ways to get a boyfriend, 5 ways to get a girlfriend. There's all sorts of stuff. But the important thing is build a following, then you can build a fortune. You don't need to worry about the details when you start off.
Nice. So John Raymond on YouTube has said, would you mind giving an example of how you research YouTube to determine what keywords, topics, etc. you're going to make videos on? Yeah. So,
yeah, sure. I mean, let's do it without any tools, just directly from YouTube.
Okay.
I should really do it in an incognito window, but it won't matter that much. So what niche is he in? Does he say?
What niche would you like to look for, John? He's in marketing, I know that. So
that's very broad.
yeah. There's a bit of a delay on YouTube.
Well, let's try marketing, and then if you can narrow it down, that would be better. But straight away,
online marketing, or I don't know, Facebook ads.
Okay, well, Facebook ads is more niche, isn't it? Because it's
okay.
Facebook ads. Okay, so what I've done here, and this is something anyone can do, obviously, is just type into YouTube an idea of what you want to do videos on, or what your niche is, and then look down this list of suggested videos. So straight away, I can see Facebook ads for iOS 14. I think there's been some changes recently in iOS 14 that may affect Facebook ads. So that may well be something that's hot at the moment. Facebook ads for drop shipping, if he knows anything about that, could put a Facebook ads course together. Another way of doing this is also to do go through the alphabet. So put Facebook ads letter A, and then see what suggestions come up. Facebook ads letter B, then another set of suggestions will come up. See, you get the idea. What we're doing is we're getting ideas. Now, this method will give you an indication of what's being searched for, but it won't tell you how many people are searching, or, you know, in classic terms, it won't. It shows us there is a demand, but it doesn't give us the size of the market of the demand. It doesn't also give us the competition. So if we wanted to go in and have a look, let's go back to iOS 14, for instance. If we then go and do a search for that, we can have a look. Are there any other videos which are fairly recent that are starting to get traction on that? And we can say that there is actually. Look, 1 month ago, this fella here has got 18,000 views in a month. So, you know, obviously people are watching videos on that topic. 9.2K in 2 months, 10K in 3 months. So there is obviously interest in this. I would watch these videos and then put a video together that's better than, or combine what's in 4 videos into one video, make it better. If you want to do this in a more scientific way, then there are paid tools that will, you know, give you a better insight. But just doing that is more than many people would bother doing, frankly.
Okay. And I guess thumbnails are important as well then.
Thumbnails can make the difference between success and failure completely. The thumbnail and the title affect the click-through rate of the video, and the click-through rate is how many people see it versus how many people click on it. And I do A/B testing on thumbnails, and I've increased the number of views on videos by, you know, multiples just by changing the color of a thumbnail. So A/B
What
testing.
about a face on a thumbnail? Like here we have everyone. The trend I've seen is everyone poses for a picture and then obviously puts, you know, the ad. What would you? So does a face help CTR?
Face generally does help CTR and an expression of emotion. To be honest, I just get a bit frustrated with it and annoyed with it because it's just like, oh my God, I'm shocked, you know, my iPhone and all this stuff. And you know, it's nonsense, a lot of it, but unfortunately it works. One thing you've got to be very careful of nowadays is not using anything which is too sexually explicit, you know, or titillating. Chicks get clicks, you know, putting attractive women on thumbnails does work, but it's becoming, you know, frowned upon, shall we say, and penalized because of that.
Years and years ago, I hired an external Facebook marketer who's guaranteeing a certain amount of cost per click, click-through rate, etc. And this was when, I mean, this was a long time ago, and I didn't know much back then. And after a month, I think he spent like $5,000 or whatever. And he was correct. He got really good click-through rate, cost per click, etc. Loads of clicks. And I was, oh, amazing. Until I looked at the adverts, and every thumbnail or every advert was basically women in bikinis. I was like, great, you're giving me like absolute dog shit in terms of clicks.
Yeah.
So, but just one other thing I wrote down here. So on my screen right now, I can see Aaron and Chris, and I was just thinking, would YouTube Shorts really help them? So, for example, Chris, he builds houses, and Aaron is like an amazing artist, as in tattoo artist. But so with those two people, so for example, Chris, when he's building a house, he could make so many 60-second YouTube Shorts to the point where the next time someone wants a house built, they'll be like, oh yeah, I'll get Chris and Tom, his brother.
That's exactly what I would suggest. Yeah.
No, and same for Aaron. Like every piece of art that he's sketching up on with pencil or whatever, should he just be sharing literally everything that he draws?
Yeah. Yeah. The great thing about a short is that it doesn't take long to do, and you can do it on your phone. So you may as well do it. I mean, I have a channel called Go Slow TV, which I set up for fun, which has the most boring videos on YouTube, just tube journeys and things. And there are thousands of people watch those. In fact, right now I'm streaming live videos of tube journeys since before COVID-19. So people are watching with nostalgia.
Seriously, people are watching this?
I think so. I don't know how we can have a look to go to Go Slow TV.
That's crazy.
I don't know how many people are watching, but there we go. It's a live stream of London Underground tube train ride. So people will watch anything. But the great thing with shorts is that you know, you can get a message over quickly, like tattoos. Yeah, brilliant. You know, I know nothing about tattoos whatsoever, but I'd certainly watch somebody getting tattooed for a minute just to find out what the process is. And you know, it's free. I mean, this is the thing. Why are people not doing this? Because you're going to do the tattoo anyway. You might as well video it. You know, I was going to go on the tube. I might as well video it. It doesn't cost anything. You know, people will sit for hours and hours making cold calls to try and get consultancy clients. Well, why not just treat YouTube as the client and educate YouTube and let YouTube educate people who will then become clients?
That's good.
People hate sales calls, don't they? Why bother? I never make sales calls.
That's so true. I've always believed that if your marketing or your like natural congruent marketing is good, and it helps people go from one logical step to the next logical step to the next logical step to the point where the next logical step is to do business with you, you don't need a sales team or etc.
And even if they don't, you know, if you've got a big enough channel, YouTube will pay you through advertising, even if no one hires you. And I think that's another sort of good point for particularly people who are in the sort of helping professions, therapists and, you know, people that help people out. Often, you know, their heart's in the right place and they want to help everybody, but there's only one of them. And a lot of people, let's be honest, can't afford them. Now, if you do stuff on YouTube, then you can reach people on a global audience where you can't meet them face to face, and YouTube will pay you so that you can help people who can't afford you whilst getting your message out there to people that you can.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's an altruistic element to it as well. I don't know, I would say that, wouldn't I? But you know, it kind of works. So why not?
Definitely. And so Bijan in Zoom has asked a question. He said, don't you think TikTok has more momentum now than YouTube Shorts? A lot of my friends have built 1 to 100K followings in very short periods of time from TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a TikTok expert, but I think TikTok is great. I'm not sure whether it has the potential for providing long-term know, like, and trust capability, because YouTube allows you to produce videos of any length, and it has a very good search and archiving feature, so that you can build up a canon of work. But it's certainly kicking YouTube, and it's making YouTube better, I think, by forcing people to produce more succinct content. But yeah, ultimately maybe TikTok will take over. I don't know, in which case the content that you've made for YouTube will need to be transferred over. But I can't see it happening in the near future. And also, YouTube pays you serious money. I don't know whether TikTok even pays creators yet. Fair
enough. Alexander, in fact, sorry, I'm just going to scroll to the top of Zoom. Sorry, I've missed out on a fair bit of comments here. Siam, you need to do a video in Dubai, Lambo in background, and sell that crypto. I don't want to sell my soul though, so no. Bijan, if Greg Secker gets 130,000 subscribers selling crap about teaching his gardener to trade, Simon deserves 1 million subs at least. Oh, thanks, mate. Rob says, Greg Secker isn't a trader. He's the master at selling. Yeah, fair one. So Taro said, can you describe the robot/non-human production method you use, please?
The method. Yeah, I use software called Vidnami. I'll stick a link. Could use my affiliate link, I guess. And then I write stuff, and then it makes the video. That's it, really. And then I use Photoshop to make thumbnails badly. But I do want to. Well, actually, I produce 2 videos a day, and I release 1. So I always recommend people to create at double the speed they release, because then you're building up a bank, so that I could take a month off if I wanted to. And believe me, after you've sometimes you just need a break, or sometimes, don't know, if you're very hungover, as I am, sometimes I just don't feel in the mood. It's good to have something in the bank.
Produce double that you release. I like that.
I mean, nothing has to be perfect, but
yeah. And so this, what is Vidnami? So you said you just write it and it makes the video.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how long I can make. I'll make a quick one if you like. It doesn't take very long, but
and share your link, your referral.
Yeah,
link.
I should be a bit of a tart and share stuff like.
Go for it. I mean, you're sharing your time with us.
Yeah.
It's only fair.
Where do I put it? In the
Zoom? Yeah, and then I'll copy and paste it into the YouTube chat.
I'll also give you some links to some software that helps with keyword research in a minute. Okay, so if we went into, let me have a look. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for a moment while I dig stuff out, because there might be passwords that get shown.
Sure.
Very dangerous to show screens, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh man, I've done that before. Shared my whole login. Sometimes when you type a password, it shows you the letter that you typed for a second.
Yeah.
I did that to one of my crypto accounts once on a live stream. The whole world knew my crypto account details. I was like, shit. So.
All right. Well, I've got Vidnami up now.
Cool.
Are you sure this isn't going to be boring for people?
No. This is awesome. Like, it's very rare you find someone that walks the walk in any particular niche, and you're walking the YouTube walk. So
I'm certainly spend a lot of time in here. So here's all the videos that I've already done, and all I do to make a new one usually is just go in. Oops. No, I would just go in and clone the previous one. Right, some love advice. I'll be a bit corny. Right, why you should never get married.
I know a lot of people going through divorce at the moment. There seems to be a spike. I think it's lockdown.
Yeah. Actually, to be honest, I loved being married. It was just getting unmarried that cost me eye-watering amounts of money. Right, so we'll just do a quick one. I usually use voice to text to do these, so I'm not very good at typing. You should not get married unless you love your partner.
Sound advice.
Yeah. And to save typing, I'll just grab something completely unrelated out the text. So I just grabbed that. If we wanted to make a video of that, then we hit create scenes, and then preview. Dum-de-dum-de-dum.
You should not get married unless you love your partner. And do we exploit the fact I have a few models as clients? Or is it best to focus on the day-to-day, no matter who? There you go. And then you export it and it's done. So that,
and you pre-populated the pictures because you cloned the other video.
No, it finds them for you. So whatever text you put in, it looks through and it finds them for you. So, and then we can change them if we want to. So if we didn't like that picture, then we could change it. But I quite like that one. But
cool. And can you change the voice? Like, are there any natural sounding ones, or is that the most natural?
I use an American lady's voice because the majority of my viewers are in America. But there's built-in voices. They're not brilliant, but you can, if you can be bothered, you can record your own voice or hire a voiceover actor. But to me, it's about volume, really. I make 2 of these a day and I release 1, and I'm not really going for the top end quality.
What? So I could record my voice and like read a whole bunch of words, and then it would your voice would always be the voiceover.
Yeah. So what you would do is you would write the script of what you want to say, and then you would record the script in here, and that using record your own track. So you would record your own. I
see. Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
And then it will go through and find all the pictures and stuff for you. Sometimes it makes mistakes. It's artificial intelligence, so you just have to go through. Like, for instance, I always remove any pictures of children, just in case YouTube ticket is for kids, which will kill the monetization.
Yeah. That's amazing. Vidnami, and I'll put your link across. Vid. I never knew that existed.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So right, let's go through the the chat. Sorry, I'm still going through that. Alexander said, would you recommend to advertise your channel when just launching? Or did you say you wait till you got about 1,000, 5,000 subscribers and then monetize?
Never advertise your channel. If you want to build a channel that's going to grow, don't advertise it, because what you're doing then is you're paying to get in front of people who are not necessarily your ideal audience and won't come back. You'll kill it.
But you can share the videos on social media.
You can do, but I would recommend not doing it when you start, because again, what YouTube wants is to find other YouTubers that want to watch the video of your choice. So if you suddenly get loads of people that coming in from Facebook who are possibly occasional YouTube viewers, or YouTube users, or when they're on YouTube, they're typically watching something which is nothing to do with your content. I don't know, maybe there's somebody who's really into baking cakes and they come and they click on your video that's all about trading, then you've confused the algorithm.
Got it. Okay. And so Aaron then said, hey, just wondering how you would approach the tattoo videos in a little more detail, step-by-step, few second clips of day to do work.
First thing I would do is book a consult with me. After doing that, I would think of a series of things that people want to know about tattoos. So for instance, one thing might be tattooing basics, so talk about, again, I'm talking about something I know nothing about, like, is having a tattoo dangerous? And then answer the question and show them why it's not dangerous. I presume it isn't dangerous. Can tattoos be removed? And then talk about whether or not they can be removed. So, there's a whole sort of answer to questions type thing. And again, there is software that will help you find what questions are being asked so that you don't have to guess. And then maybe you do a series about different tattoo designs on different parts of the body. I don't know, don't lots of people have lower back tattoos now or something? You could do a whole series of, things to consider when you're getting a lower back tattoo. I'm talking about something I know nothing about.
Nice.
And if he wants to be the personality, then he could appear with his face and talk about this. Or if he doesn't want to appear on camera, then show the tattoos happening, or use a model or a voiceover artist to produce the content. Depends what always start with the end in mind. So when you start a YouTube channel, what is your objective for having that channel? Because that will drive the strategy.
Got it. And Peanut Butter Jelly Time on YouTube has said, what's your opinion on live content, e.g. lo-fi content, which is streamed live and has good followings? Could there be some potential there?
Yeah, in fact, just last week I set up a lo-fi streaming channel.
So what does lo-fi mean?
Lo-fi means low fidelity music. So it's, he probably know better than me, because I just found there was a niche in there and started producing the music or getting music done. But yes, streaming music can sometimes be difficult to monetize. YouTube's policy is a little bit unclear about that, but you can certainly get lots of followers by doing that. But when you initially start a channel, streaming isn't really the best way to build it. The best way to build it is through getting followings by submitting videos and optimizing them properly and giving the algorithm time to go out and find fans. But yes, it can certainly be done. In fact, I'm doing it.
Nice. And earlier you said you were going to look at my page here. What were you going to say? By the way, I'm fully aware that this is very generic. I talk about frigging everything on this channel.
Well, that's the first thing I would say. Well, first of all, let's give you a round of applause. You've got 7,500 subscribers. That's, you've obviously been doing this a while, and that's good. But yes, looking at it straight away, when I come to your banner, then I'm not sure why am I here? That says who you are, but it doesn't say what it does for me. There's no benefit statement.
Yeah.
And again, I'll compare and contrast with the Love channel, which I'm not holding up as being, an example of brilliance. Just you can see how it's.
If you're looking for love,
You can see how it's clear.
Yeah,
That there's a clear value proposition there.
definitely.
When I look on yours, I'm not sure what I'm getting and when I'm getting it.
Good point.
The place to start is here in your about section. Like, you need to describe to people, what the value proposition is in here and what they can get and when, which will drive the rest of the branding and the rest of the channel art. So I simply help people understand the world of wealth generation, mainly via vehicles. Great, but why am I going to watch you? What are you going to tell me?
Yeah.
Also, you're taking people off of YouTube straight away, which YouTube absolutely hates. So get rid of those links.
Okay.
Get rid of the links. If you compare that to the Love channel, wherever it was, Love, dating, relationship advice in 60 seconds or less without the fluff. We release videos daily covering, you can see that this value proposition basically translates into the channel art and all of the optimization that we would do around that. Then I would be looking, as I say, at the focus of the channel. Oh look, we're on. Oh, there we go. We're already on your. We're on your Facebook. So I'd be looking at the focus. When I look at the thumbnails, it's not obvious. It's a bit confused. It's a bit confused. Got some great content up here, but it's not optimized, is it?
Not at all. All I'm doing is basically just doing these daily live sessions and just letting the recording go up on YouTube. But yeah, I'm content rich, but not very good at getting out there.
But it's by no means bad. It's just, if you wanted to focus it, I think you'd need to decide what your one trick is.
Yeah.
And make the channel more focused on that. And then get some consistency in the thumbnails, because when these pop up, it's not immediately obvious which one is. If I saw these in a list of suggested videos, it's not immediately obvious which one would be yours. So it'd be harder to follow you.
Got it.
But I had a look on Social Blade, and
Social Blade. And what is that? Just like a ranking of YouTubers?
Yeah, it gives you a little bit of history. So you can see that you started off here, and the number of views has been fairly consistent. You're not growing, but you're not failing, but you're not growing, are you? You started off with a big bang, and you've managed to maintain consistency. These numbers aren't terrible by any means. I mean, you're getting 7 subscribers a day. A lot of people get nowhere near that.
Oh, cool.
600 views or so. But what's the objective of the channel? I come back to the first question. Why did you do this?
I've no idea. Just somewhere just to have things to put online, and yeah, I think that's the first error. There was no clear direction of the channel, and I still don't have a clear direction of the channel. I still don't know what I'm doing with it. So, and I think it's probably something which a lot of other people fall into as well.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong actually in doing this to start with, because at least you're in the habit of producing content. You're not camera shy, and you're taking action. And as a result, you've got, if you round that up, it's 8,000 subscribers, isn't it? Most people won't get anywhere near that. So, I don't want to put a downer on it. I'm just saying that this now might be a vehicle for realigning and focusing on one of the many things that you can do. And that's a downside of being multi-talented, I guess, is you've got to pick something and go for it, really.
So would you completely rebrand this page? Let's say I was going to go down just trading stuff. Would I just rebrand this all trading stuff and then just, I guess, ignore all of the previous videos?
Yeah, it'd be a toss-up, really. We'd need to have a look, but it'd be a toss-up between making this channel into one all about trading, or setting up a brand new channel all about trading.
Okay.
Now, the downside of setting up a brand new channel is that 7,500 subscribers would need to be built from scratch. But the 7,500 subscribers is only really, once you get above 1,000 subscribers, about bragging rights and social proof. It doesn't make any difference as to how successful the channel is. And also, you're going to make a channel about trading. What's the objective? Is it to make money off of AdSense? In which case we need to go for a volume play. Is it to get more clients to your website? In which case we need to educate YouTube so that YouTube can educate the algorithm and find other people who want to be educated and probably willing to pay for it. You mentioned Greg Secker. I know that name. I know a number of people in the trading space. Greg has a very different strategy than other people, because I think he makes a lot of money perhaps off of things which are not directly to do with trading.
Oh no,
I'm being careful with my words.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't me. It was someone in the comments. But yeah. His whole business model is his brokerage.
Yeah,
basically. But yeah, let's not talk about someone else. So okay, that's interesting. And I had another question I completely forgot. Let's quickly look at the. So Amanda said, I thought of setting up a YouTube for crafts. However, crafts is a big subject and I don't want to pick just one sector. I'd wanted to show trials and tribulations of doing crafts and how to make them better. This then means that I would have to use my face, or at least my hands. Would this way be even viable to do?
Well, the simple answer is anything is viable to do if you do it well enough and long enough. But if you want to make it easy, then crafts, again, it's a huge topic. If you become an expert at making finger puppets and you are the world authority on finger puppets, that would be a lot easier to grow than if you're just doing a basket of crafts, because then you've got to appeal to everybody, which might mean that you're not particularly interesting to anyone. So, the thing with YouTube is it isn't infinite, but you can almost consider the audience to be infinite. Therefore, if you've got an infinite audience, then any niche, no matter how tight, is big enough to support what you want to do. assuming, I don't know, maybe you could buy Lambos. I don't know if that's what turned you on, but I think they use a lot of petrol. It's not great for the environment. But yeah, again, specific. Or if you want to show your face, just become the lady who everybody really loves to talk about crafts. It's the personality then. The niche is the personality. The craft is kind of incidental, because if she was into baking or quilt making or whatever, then people would also still want to talk to her. I mean, don't think many people watched Nigel Lawson for the cooking, did they? Not Nigel Lawson. It's not Nigel Lawson. Who's the lady that does the cooking? Nigella, yeah. I have to say, I love that program, but never made a cake in my life.
Nice. John has said, what analytics software do you use?
Well, YouTube's analytics, built-in analytics.
Okay.
For actually looking at analytics, but I think what he probably means is for research. Maybe you can clarify that.
Okay.
Is it?
No, there's such a big lag on the Facebook.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. Well,
wait a year.
I will be cheeky again, and I'll stick my affiliate links into the ones that I use.
Yeah, go.
So the one I recommend for beginners is this one here. I'll stick it in the chat. Is that one? It's called vidIQ.
Yep.
Once your channel is starting to grow and get a bit bigger, then there's one which I actually think is better in many ways, but it's a bit more, shall we say, involved.
Yep.
I'll try and find it. That's how I would normally use this one, but I don't know. It's one of those things. They've got a website, but the problem is on the website it doesn't really tell you how to use it properly. So lots of people buy it and then can't use it and think it's rubbish, which is a bit silly, isn't it? Really. Okay.
So I'm just trying to summarize. So if, let's say, there's someone that likes the idea of doing YouTube shorts because they can just do it on their mobile phone or even use that VidArmy type stuff.
Yeah.
It would be, so step one would be pick a niche. So step one would be niche.
Pick a niche, yeah.
Produce double that you release, and also find a cadence, as in whether it's 1 a day, 2 a day, and then stick to it.
Yeah.
And then just keep doing that until YouTube picks you up, I guess.
Yeah, but so I'd also add on top of that, why are you doing it? Is it Gary Vee always goes on about, this one's a TubeBuddy, this is the one to use, the other one. What's the why? What's the objective? Because if you were going to do, if you have said, right, I want to make lots of money by being a YouTuber off of advertising, then the strategy would be entirely different to, I want to get lots of clients for my coaching business. Entirely separate way of doing it. So you need to start with the end in mind, really. Are you looking to sell the channel? Is it a capital exit that you're after? In which case, keep your face off of it. Most people, I think, want to be YouTubers in that they want to have their face on it and use it as a way of getting, well, certainly many of the people that I deal with, they want to be on it so that they can get more leads effectively for an established business or one that they're setting up, rather than going for the hundreds of millions of views and then selling the channel, which is the one that I generally go for.
Got it. Okay.
But either will work.
Fair enough. And so years and years ago, I've just gone onto my Google Keep and I found some old YouTube notes of, I used to go to Traffic and Conversion Summit in San Diego.
Oh, Ryan Dice. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever been. I used to love them. I mean, San Diego is like the best city ever, and it was really fun. Anyway, so I've just found some old YouTube notes. I don't know how much of this is still relevant, so it'll be interesting to see what your take is. So back then you said ideal YouTube length is 7 to 12 minutes. That sort of corroborates what you said. So it doesn't look like much has changed.
With the caveat that you get good retention, because things have changed now. It's not about views anymore. It's about watch time. So there's no point in having a long video that people bail after 5 seconds.
Got it. Okay, watch time. Okay, so I'm just going to write that down. Watch time. Is there like a percentage retention that you need to stay above, like above 50% of the video, or?
Above 50 is great. Above 60 is brilliant.
Okay, above 50. Great. Okay. Publish, yeah, set cadence and stick to it. It said that. Enable monetization.
You can't monetize until you've got 1,000 subscribers anyway. And then only if they deem that your content is worthy of being monetized. And in order to do that, to make sure it is, then stick within the ever-changing guidelines which is published on their site.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It also said 20-second edit break. So I think this person was talking about if you're like doing camera, face to camera, etc. Instead of just having one shot of you, every 20 seconds maybe change the angle or zoom in, zoom out, etc.
Yeah, and I'd probably say that's got quicker now. People's attention spans have gone down. The one thing to keep, here's a tip to keep retention up, which works surprisingly well, is change the location. So, you know, on documentaries, you'll see somebody on top of a hill saying, "Look at the stars," and then then they clip to them in a coffee shop, and then they clip to them driving their car. Changing location really keeps people interested.
Got it. So how would you do that if you're like just a YouTuber sat in your office, just different video clips now and then, or like?
Yeah, the way I've seen it work really well is to have, let's say that we're doing, this isn't a studio, but if there's a studio, I'm just talking about something, then cut to me explaining the same point or maybe reinforcing it while I'm out walking with an iPhone.
Okay.
So there's something about iPhone or smartphone type videos which works really well, at least when you're starting off, for two reasons. One is that if you're walking in the park, then you've given yourself permission to drop production standards, so that, and people are very forgiving of that. So if you and I to go to a studio with a nice green screen and everything, and we do a job that's, I don't know, 75% there, people will be very critical. Oh, look at them, spent all that money on a posh studio and they still sound rubbish. But if you're walking, people will be forgiving. And also the very act of going on a journey, people want to see where you're going. So walking with an iPhone or a smartphone is one of the best formats. And honestly, I've had far better results with that quite often than when I had my studio, just because it's raw.
Awesome. I like that. The next one. So yeah, the thumbnails. We talked about the thumbnails. You mentioned that. It said, don't add links into the description unless it's after the 144th character. Apparently back then, the YouTube spider would only scan the first 144 characters. Is that accurate or not?
It scans it all now from top to bottom, left to right. But the reason for being careful with links is nothing to do with the characters or the keywords. It's that you don't want to be seen by the algorithm as somebody who takes people off of YouTube. Because I mentioned watch time. Over and above watch time is session time. Session time is how long people stay on the platform and watch one or preferably more than one of your videos. If you think about it, if I'm Mr. YouTube and I'm making my money serving ads to people, if every time someone goes to your video, they click off and go to your website, I'm not going to send any more traffic that way because it's just cost me a viewer.
Makes sense. Okay. Interesting.
So it's a balance, really, isn't it?
God, yeah. Okay.
So a way around that, rather than putting a link, say in your video, after you've watched this video, Google, and then say what you want them to Google, and then they'll find it that way.
Much better. I like that. Let's go through the chat box. So I have to say this. Adam said, I like San Diego too. Fun fact, it means a whale's vagina in Spanish. I love that. San Diego, amazing.
Don't tell Ryan.
Yeah. Adam's asked, how many channels have you built and sold?
How many have I built and sold? I've built, well, I helped with that big one. That wasn't mine. So that was one. I'm about to sell another one, and I have sold one more in the past, and I've got another 3 which are under consideration. So actual sales one,
Wow.
but being involved in a number of them. And there's a number of channels that I've got that people want to buy, but I'm not selling them.
Cool.
Because my strategy is to sell, and then, you know, I'm 55 now. I want to sell them at 65. So there's 10 years in there.
Yeah. And what got you into this in the first place? Because I think we've led similar journeys. We got into business. Some businesses didn't work. Some went well, etc. Like, what businesses were you originally in?
Oh God, I had a translation company which I built and sold. That was a 7-figure one. I had a conference call company, which was sort of mid to high 6 figures. And the reason that I got into YouTube is because with, you know, and I've been involved in other companies as well that went wrong. I had a swimming pool company in Spain that was a disaster, and a health club at London Bridge. I've had lots of them over the years. But the reason that YouTube is so much better than many of the other businesses is it's infinitely scalable with very controllable fixed costs. Now, when I had my real companies, I'd got offices, I'd got staff, you know, I had to make the best part of 6 figures a month in terms of turnover just to cover, you know, the costs.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. With YouTube, it's either zero cost or very low cost to produce an asset, which then pays you ad infinitum. So, you know, on my nursery rhyme channel, for instance, it would cost about $2,500 to make a 90-second video. But those videos, once they're produced, they sit there and they generate income month after month. With the Vidnami example that I showed you, you know, if you were to build a big channel using Vidnami, I think Vidnami is like $20 a month. Nothing. You're not paying for advertising. There's no PPC stuff. You're just building an asset. It's a capital asset. And obviously, if you wrap it in a company, you can get entrepreneur's tax relief when you sell it anyway.
Amazing. So Peanut Butter Jelly Time is that, are there any good places to put links to drive people, for instance, to buy a course? So let's say your whole YouTube channel is about driving consultancy work or sell a course, etc. How would you do that without YouTube identifying you as a black hole where people bounce?
It's a good question, and I wouldn't necessarily say don't put links in your videos once your channel is big and established, because it's a cost benefit analysis, isn't it? A balance. So, you know, you will lose some, but you might make lots of money when people go to the website and buy it. It's like, if your objective is purely to grow your YouTube channel, put no links in it. If you're using YouTube channel as a lead source, then it's worth damaging your YouTube channel growth slightly if you're making a lot of money on the people that do click. But if you want to be completely clean about it, so the best way to do it, I would say, is have a well-recognized brand and say something along the lines of, you know, if after watching this video, don't leave now because the last tip is amazing, or whatever, Google, you know, 30-second wealth tips or something, if that's your business, then people will go and open another tab and Google it, and it won't be seen by YouTube as a click on their property that takes you away from watching the video.
Nice.
Because they can track when you click on links which is in the description, and they just don't like it.
Cool. And so if people wanted to work with you, like, what is the best way to find you? Like, how would it work if someone wanted to do consultancy? Because I there's going to be endless questions here, and I know that there are people, business owners watching this today, which I can see YouTube Shorts are just like, definitely. Like, how would
YouTube Shorts are an opportunity which doesn't come along very often. It's not come along since 2005 when YouTube started. Now it's harder now to get traction in Shorts than it was at the beginning of the year, but by no means is it difficult to build the channel. Best way to get hold of me, I would say email, but then I've got so many Viagra adverts and stuff, spam that comes in. Facebook is always a good way. I do have a link which people can book a slot in my diary, but
Yeah.
Please only book it if you're serious about your channel, because I've spent so long on chats with people who've got no serious intention and no budget. So I'll put that in. I'll put it in the chat. But
so okay, so that's interesting. So intentions. Yeah, okay. What about budgets? What sort of budget would one need to, you know, work with you and also do enough activity, or, you know, to get the thing going?
The way that I normally work with clients is I charge a one-off fee, which is 2,500 UK pounds plus VAT, to get their channel in a position for growth, which either means set a channel up from scratch if they haven't got one, or have a look at their existing channel and tweak it if they have got one, or you know, get them whatever that looks like, because everyone comes from a different place, don't they? And then what most and teach them everything they need to know, sort of one-on-one. So we do it on the Zoom, because frankly there isn't that much that you need to know, but it's knowing the right stuff. So I teach, give you everything you need to know, and then you do it. And then what most clients do is they keep me on a retainer, which I charge 500 a month for, and then that would cover us for an hour or so of me looking at their channel ahead of time, and then we do a Zoom together to course correct. Because this is the fantastic thing about YouTube, is once you start creating content, it will tell you what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong if you know how to interpret the numbers. And all we do is more of what's working and less of what isn't. And then we do it for another month, and then we check it in. People can cancel that at any time. Some clients have been with me for years. Some people, you know, do a few months and think, I've got this, and off they go on their own. I'm easy either way, really.
Awesome.
But what I don't really want is loads of people in the diary wanting loads of freebies, because I'd sooner spend the time building my own channels than that, to be honest.
That makes so for those who are serious, like where can we find you?
I'll put it link in the Zoom chat.
Yeah,
that goes straight into my diary, and there's half-hour slots, and I have a separate diary for this, so there should be plenty available. But the main thing is just do it. You know, just if you can get over pressing record, then you can generally be successful, and that's just a psychological thing more than a technical thing, isn't it?
Nice. Awesome.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's been really helpful, mate. So just to recap of some of the notes I've been scribbling down, just to summarize it all. So it's not all about subs, it's about video views, watch time, and video retention. Don't be too general. Best to be that one-trick pony. YouTube Shorts, awesome thing to look into. 8 to 10 minutes ideal if you're doing AdSense. Consultancy doesn't matter, just until you get boring. Having that right cadence, just be consistent with when you post and how often you post. Produce double that you release. Vidnami is really helpful. That's pretty cool software. Yeah. Don't share the videos or advertise your channel. That makes total sense. Benefit banner. I like that. The banner of your YouTube needs to have that benefit statement. I like that. Lose all your links. Social blade for analytics, etc. And yeah, change location if you can. That's been super helpful.
Yeah,
mate.
I think that covers most of it, really. Yeah. What planes did you fly, by the way?
Oh, I ended up on all sorts. I think probably about 8 different types going through all the training. I spent a fair bit of time in helicopters, but then ended up on the Herc. And basically my trading and flying were on the same seesaw. So my trading was shit. My Air Force career was great. And then all of a sudden trading went, and then I ruined my Air Force career just because I didn't give a shit.
I'd have loved to have done that. I went to Yannick Silver. I don't know if you've heard of him, but I went to Russia with him and his Mavericks, and we flew MiGs, MiG-29s, right up into space, or near space. That was
I love
fun. Yeah, but yeah. So get rich on YouTube, and then I don't know, buy a MiG.
Yeah, you can. They're relatively cheap.
Yeah.
So
they usually work. They don't often crash.
Yeah.
But
Awesome.
no, thank you for the opportunity. I enjoyed that. It's good to explain stuff because it helps to consolidate knowledge. And I think that's another benefit for doing YouTube is that if you have to do a video about it, it means that you get used to it, to doing your elevator pitch, and you get used to explaining your stuff. So even if nobody ever watches a video, maybe there's a benefit. I don't know, but they will watch.
Well, Pete, thank you very much. And for those of you here today on Zoom and YouTube, again, thank you. I think there was about 55 of us in here in total, so
Brilliant.
not bad.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah. Have a good one, mate.
Cheers. Bye for now. Thanks, everybody.
Toodles, everyone.